Bon après-midi, Vanessa. Once more, thank you so much for joining us in this edition. Beatrice Ngamo was at that meeting and brought back this report.
The sad events in Gabu, the death of Samuel Wazizi, the journalist on suspicion of terrorism, despicable murder of 7 students in Kumba.
The list a long one. Lives and property loss, traumatic, sad and disheartening. Violation the National Human Rights Commission struggles to point fingers at.
4 soldiers for the assassination in 2015 of 2 women and their 2 children in the Far North region to 10 years in prison and another 2 years in prison. The opening of disciplinary proceedings against all the soldiers involved the sad events of Gap.
Issues discussed at the 28th Ordinary Session of the National Commission on Human Rights and Freedom in Yaoundé.
This ordinary session will focus on the deliberation and adoption of the Commission's work program and budget, the sum of 1,363,401,000.
They say they'll continue to encourage the government to help the population. 363 letters have been sent to that effect, some 344 to individuals, 263 to civil society organizations in relation to human rights violations and issues. With the means now available, the 2019 State of Human Rights Report in Cameroon will be made public early next year.
Now, the population of the southwest region of Cameroon have expressed their wish to see the much heralded special status come to reality, a people torn by conflict, and are hoping with the election of the Pioneer Executive Bureau of the Regional Council, developmental projects coupled with some degree of autonomy will be granted to the region. Our reporter Ines Onduambala witnessed the ceremony yesterday in Boye and brought back this report.
A new page has been written in the history of the Southwest region with the elections of the first ever Regional Council executive members. The team headed by Bakuma Elangwa Zakius was elected during the maiden session of right dedicated to elections of members of the Southwest House of Assembly, supervised by Southwest Governor Bernardo Kaliabilai.
We want to assure you that members of the Bureau will work hand in glove with the entire General Assembly to see that we move this region ahead.
Shortly after his election as the hem of the Southwest Regional Council, Bakuma Elango Zakius reassured the public of the determination of his team to strive for development in order to improve on the well-being of the Southwest population.
We are going to work as a team, making the only lady private sector. I know what it all means, and I'm going to stand up to the task.
With the long-awaited special status, the people of the Southwest region have high expectation as the new team takes command.
Now the population is in their need of material and human development. So our concentration is in areas that can affect the youth, like the women, and other aspects of the vulnerable population. Yes.
The development will eventually come because the insecurity is reducing. We are working to that name to see how we can convince the boys to finally drop their arms.
Out of the 19 regional council, 20 will constitute the House of Chiefs in the Southwest region.
It has been a wonderful day. It is a historical day for the nation of Cameroon, for us being the pioneer members of this House of Chiefs. I think that we're assuring the population that they should not regret this. It has to take us a long way. We know there are so many challenges, but I think the elements put together are equal to the task.
It is hoped that more developmental projects see the light of the day in this part of the country, which has been recorded devastating consequences of the socio-political unrest.
Now, the former government delegate to the Yaoundé City Council, Chimi-Evona, has bounced back as a pioneer president of the Regional Council for the Central Region. He was elected in the non-competitive elections yesterday, given he was a lone candidate. Chimi-Evona has, however, promised to bring back the same vigor he had when he was government delegate to the Yaoundé City Council. This report by Hyson Chia.
He is referred to as a Jack Boyle of Yaoundé. Many called him Le Meilleur Casseur. The no-nonsense Chimi-Evona is back at the helm of affairs once again. He becomes the pioneer president of the Central Regional Council Bureau. Being the lone CPDM candidate invested in the presidential post, Chimi-Evona, in this first session, as of right, harvested a 100% voting rate from his party comrades and traditional representatives. The mission of the former delegates to the Yaoundé City Council as he picks up command at the Regional Council is very clear. I will transform the Central Region the same way I transformed the city of Yaoundé. The complete bureau elected this December 22nd comprises of 7 members, and conscious of the challenges, the newly elect are confident that they shall champion the decentralization process in the Central Region.
The priority is the local development. I don't have another priority. The local development of my region. Priority of priority is road. We cannot make anything without road.
The traditional rulers, custodians of the localities, also ready to contribute their quarters in the local development with focus on basic needs.
We know all the problems of our population, and those problems has to be solved accordance of the political lines of the government. We'll come for the basis.
The 90 councillors shall constitute 4 different commissions of socio-economic, environmental, education, finance, and the legal domains, with each headed by a president.
Now, many are those who are still wondering on the role of regional councils in the decentralization process. And as the Executive Bureau goes to work, Kejang Henry Atembe in the following commentary says the regional council should not be a conclave of retirees. Rather, it should be a veritable tool to drive development in different regions of Cameroon. His report.
It is the dawn of a new governance era in Cameroon, as executive members of the regional assemblies are now known. And as the cycle of the devolution of powers to local governments now complete, all eyes are jarring towards the same direction, while expectations are high on what the regional assemblies will deliver to the people. Though critical minds are seeing the regional assemblies as a conclave of retirees to harvest political compensation, there are those who think the putting in place of the regional assemblies will grease the development apparatus for prosperous communities. This is the quintessence enshrined in the decentralization code, in which locally elected officials have the obligation of selflessness in the discharge of their duties. With the decentralization train on the move, regional assemblies will focus on economic actions for the region, handle environmental and natural resources management, health, social action, education, sports, vocational training, culture, and national languages. Beyond that, the decentralization code has made provisions of a special status for the north, west, and southwest regions of the country in issues concerning the education subsystem and the formulation of justice public policies in common law subsystem. They may be involved in the management of public services established in their respective territories.
Une bonne nouvelle en sport dans ce journal. Les Lions indomptables juniors sont de retour au bercail avec le trophée de champion du tournoi Unifac U20 Malabo 2020. Ils sont arrivés aux premières heures de la journée, accueillis par plusieurs supporters ainsi que nos reporters Marc Chouamou et Luciano Djakou.
Les champions du tournoi Unifac U20 de Malabo sont de retour. Arrivés à 1h du matin ce mercredi par l'aéroport international de Douala, les Lions juniors ont reçu un accueil chaleureux. L'occasion pour le capitaine de présenter le trophée glané face à la RCA quelques heures plus tôt sur le large score de 3 buts à 0. Ce succès est d'abord celui des joueurs.
C'était pas facile. C'est parce qu'on a dû mettre en pratique ce que les encadreurs nous ont demandé de faire et on a été respectueux. On s'est serré les coudes entre nous et voilà.
Critiqué après la mise sur pied de son groupe, le sélectionneur Christophe Ousmanou rappelle malgré tout les difficultés sur ce parcours victorieux en Guinée équatoriale.
Il y a ce manque de compétition parce que le championnat n'a pas commencé. Mais nous avons eu la chance d'avoir des joueurs de Ligue 1, de Ligue 2 qui s'étaient déjà préparés pour le début du championnat. Nous avons pris dans certains joueurs parmi eux et nous avons mis l'accent sur la cohésion du groupe et ça nous a réussi, on va dire bravo aux enfants.
Pour la Fédération camerounaise de football, c'est une nouvelle victoire pour le football jeune à valoriser.
Le football jeune est très important pour nous. Donc ces catégories d'âge U17, U20 sont primordiales. Donc il fallait participer à cette compétition, d'autant plus que cette compétition était qualificative pour Mauritanie 2020.
Les Lions juniors sont arrivés à Douala dans un même vol que leurs victimes du jour. Les Centrafricains en transit ont rejoint Bangui, tandis que les Lionceaux sont allés à l'hôtel se reposer en attendant dans quelques semaines la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations des moins de 20 ans en Mauritanie.
Autre fait d'actualité, les droits de l'homme ont été bafoués au Cameroun en diverses circonstances durant l'année 2020. C'est l'essentiel à retenir de la 28e session ordinaire de la Commission nationale des droits de l'homme et des libertés tenue hier à Yaoundé. Ces travaux ont également permis à cette organisation de faire le point sur ses activités et présenter son agenda pour 2021. Les précisions de Delphine Foncoutene et Luc Vondor.
2020 a été une année difficile pour les droits de l'homme au Cameroun. Les problèmes sécuritaires, les catastrophes naturelles et la pandémie de coronavirus ont majoritairement affecté la situation des droits de l'homme dans notre pays.
Il y a eu un accroissement de 2,3 millions de personnes dont le droit à l'alimentation, c'est-à-dire le droit à la nourriture, n'est pas respecté. Et nous avons également la situation des déplacés et les attaques répétées de Boko Haram.
À ceci s'ajoutent également les tensions politiques nées au lendemain de l'élection présidentielle de 2018. Les travaux de la 28e session ordinaire de la Commission nationale des droits de l'homme et des libertés de ce 22 décembre à Yaoundé permettent de faire le point des actions de protection menées pour faire face à ces manquements.
Que nous avons agressé 363 correspondances aux autorités pour les inviter à respecter les droits de leurs collaborateurs ou les droits de l'homme dans le cadre des administrations dont ils ont la charge. Nous avons agressé 344 correspondances aux particuliers et nous avons agressé 263 correspondances aux organisations de la société civile.
Avec la hausse de son budget de 77% en 2021, cette commission entend accroître ses actions et relever les nombreux défis qui l'attendent, notamment la prévention de la torture et des traitements inhumains, le renforcement du droit à un procès équitable et surtout la poursuite de la recherche des solutions aux crises sécuritaires dans le nord-ouest, le sud-ouest et l'extrême nord Cameroun.
The first couple, President Paul Biya and wife Chantal Biya, have decided to put smiles on the faces of internally displaced persons. Basic commodities and foodstuff worth 600 million francs CFA has been offered to internally displaced persons resident in different towns across Cameroon. Now the gifts are from Cameroon's head of state, President Paul Biya, and wife Chantal Biya, and the Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji kick-started the distribution exercise in the nation's capital. This report with you, Hyacinthia.
The scenario rich with meanings. Christmas gift ceremony to some 1,000 IDPs from the northwest and southwest regions residing in Yaoundé.
Each of you will have a mattress. You have a mattress. Yes. And you have your transportation as you are going living here. So the message is from President Paul Biya that he said that since we are in Christmas and New Year, he must think and give something about you.
They include also basic foodstuff and blankets. Special end-of-year gesture from the head of state.
It's a total amount of 600 million francs that President Paul Biya has put at our disposal to help the IDPs in the northwest and southwest regions. I'm giving the kickoff today in Yaoundé. We have about 1,000 people who benefit from it, more than 500 families.
Like Yaoundé, the IDPs in Bamenda, Douala, Boya, Manfi and Ejeya will also enjoy the same privilege.
We are very happy to have a lot of things from the president.
This is not all. The head of state messenger also have this food for thought for the IDPs in Yaoundé who are homesick.
We have a special program that President Pobi has put in place. Is for those who want to go back. So far, so good. We have resettled about 19,000 who have gone back to either to Bamenda, Kumbaboya, or Mafe. So if you want to enter the program, just go to the civil protection, put down your name, we work out the program for you and your family, and share you can resettle back.
And finally, the special distribution exercise also saw the handing of face masks to reiterate the need to continue the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, which is still very present.
Strict respect of barrier measures. We have to wear the mask, wash our hands, and keep social distancing.
The Minister of Territorial Administration emphasized this is his 167th outing to distribute gifts in favor of IDPs from the Northwest and Southwest regions in 2 years.
And in news relating to more goodwill gestures, dozens, if not hundreds, of internally displaced persons resident here in the nation's economic capital have sent a distress call to government to end the crisis so they can go back home and enjoy Christmas and New Year in where they called their comfort zone. Now, benevolent organizations have visited some IDPs resident in the nation's economic capital and provided them with some gifts for Christmas. Our reporter Morinti was there and brought back this report.
Hussaini Yaya, barely 15, is an internally displaced as a result of the bloody war in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. He tells me how both parents and siblings were gunned down.
The problem is that I'm from Bamenda. They have killed my mother and my father there. So I'm here to see my big sister, and calling her number is not passing.
Like Yaya, there are thousands of children, women, as well as men that hold similar stories are now seeking refuge across different regions of Cameroon without food nor shelter. In Douala, precisely in the Douala 4 municipality, a good number of these IDPs are battling daily for survival.
We came when there was shooting and burning of houses in my 8-man. From now, I was staying with my aunt, and she's partially paralyzed because of that incident, and she's not talking because everything was burnt in the house. This is my first time celebrating Christmas out of my comfort zone.
As they crave for providence, Christmas has provided them opportunity to receive foodstuffs from benevolent organizations.
Just like the base, you start by giving them something to eat, and then you get used to IDPs, and then now you know what they actually need to sustain themselves.
Beatrice Fortune has been on humanitarian services for more than a decade. Her goal is to put smiles on the faces of IDPs, the needy and vulnerable.
So the goal is to be able to have the means to do more. And I know nothing is too small. So our goal is the next goal is to do a health fair. With the health fair, we'll be able to know what areas of health that we're going to be touching. So with a situation like this, we definitely want to do more.
She gives hope for a brighter tomorrow.
Helping people is what brings me satisfaction, and that's exactly what I'm going to keep doing.
Christmas is about sharing, spreading love, and sharing meaningful stories that gives hope for humanity. What this non-governmental organization is giving out to IDPs this December 22 at Bamboo Tous in the heart of the Douala 4 municipality.
Now, amongst the crowd of IDPs who received gifts yesterday from the benevolent organization is a boy who is resident at the Bamboo Tous quarters in Bonabere, Douala 4 municipality. He says his parents were gunned down and he managed to sneak out into a vehicle to Douala. He is presently stranded and frustrated. Take a listen to this very sad story.
The problem is that I'm from Bamenda. They have killed my mother and my father there. So I'm here to see my big sister, and calling her number is not passing. Now it's about 1 week I'm sleeping outside. I'm begging people to help me for what I can eat. So I don't know what to do. I just come here and see as there's population, they help me.
And in more good news, with distribution, close to 250 underprivileged children in the south region of Cameroon have received Christmas gifts from the First Lady of Cameroon, Madame Chantal Biya. The gifts come at a time when families' purchasing power has been adversely affected as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. More with you, Gladys Amboteba.
The smiles on their faces are glaring and translates the joy they have in receiving these Christmas gifts from UNESCO's Goodwill Ambassador, First Lady Chantal Biya. Close to 250 children in Niete, in the South region, were handed over the gifts in an event aimed at portraying the importance of the indigenous people and how they deserve equal opportunity. We want to say thank you to First Lady Chantal Biya for her generosity and for thinking about the needy and orphans. We equally have some books we received about 2 weeks ago, and we will be handing them over to pupils and students, especially those who make up the indigenous population. The Christmas party is an annual event that permits the indigenous population and those often marginalized to benefit from the presidential largesse. It is the wish of the First Lady to see these Baka children happy during this period, and we are here to accompany her in her actions. The event is in its 18th edition this 2020.
Now, butchers in Kribi, South region of Cameroon, have expressed concerns over the designation of a new director of the slaughterhouse, citing bribery and corruption. An installation to that effect has been postponed indefinitely in order for the elections to be organized as demanded by most butchers in Kribi, South region of Cameroon. Once more, Gladys Amboteba.
Ever since the death of the director of the Kribi slaughterhouse in the south region of Cameroon, there have been wranglings over who to replace him. One of the butchers, who has been assuming the interim and claiming to be legitimate successor, is being rejected by some of his colleagues, who emphasize on the need for an election.
The ceremony of Chief Butcher, because the last 4 months was Chief Butcher there. Okay, today the authority decided to give you another Chief Butcher. One of our colleagues come to oppose that it's not one the Chief Butcher, because the Chief Butcher card the headquarter people to come here and inaugurate and put the Chief Butcher in here. It's not one that because it's a corruption.
We have to organize elections. He insisted he has authorization, but when we met the subdivisional officer, he explained that elections will hold. We have the impression that he is involved in some corrupt practices. At the fall installation ceremony this December 21, 2020, the butchers were still insisting that the designation of a director was out of place and wanted elections at all costs.
We come to activate the Chief Butcher, but the problem is to do where the people get some small matter. The matter is that the matter people are saying no, we want to go election. So other ones say no, we want only nomination.
The subdivisional officer of Kribi 1, Fuen Dono Bertrand, whom we contacted, says the installation ceremony has been postponed indefinitely in order for the file to be examined in the presence of the head of the Far North community in Kribi.
And well, that was how we saw it for this edition of the Bilingual News on Canal International. Thank you so much for watching. We wish you an excellent day, and we hope you spend the day in the company of programs of Canal International. Bon après-midi, Vanessa Melakandel.
Bon après-midi, Régina Lecatondaï. C'est effectivement la fin du journal. Merci à tous pour votre fidélité. Bonne suite des programmes sur Canal International.